What's up, my people? Good morning. It's Christian over at Voyager Super Trucker Podcast coming to you live. It is Monday, go time. That's right. As an owner operator, you should be on a load headed your way out of Florida, if not already on your way out. So here we go, guys. What we do best is actually gather a lot of questions that come across our social media platform. Um, and we answer them in the morning so that you guys can get the details and we kind of share the same common questions. So hopefully your questions get answered. We get everything from plates all the way down to a type of truck, what's a good idea, warranties, and so forth. So this is geared towards my first time owner operators who are on the fence, thinking about making the move, but got tons of questions. So we'll get started, jump right in. I know there's the temperature outside won't really follow all that political stuff too much, but I'm sure you guys heard by now, North Carolina, out of their non-domicile CDLs, about 54% of those bad boys were issued illegally. So now they're much going to be like California, getting revoked. So that's going to knock a couple people out of the box. And again, this, somebody's shaking the tree in this industry called trucking, and that kind of spooks people, but it also inspires people, which means, how are these guys feeling? Is this the time to buy? Is it not? Is it the time to be reserved? One of the things I always say, hey man, movement is energy, pushing forward. So that's what we do here, right? Is just it's Monday, get out there and grind. For my guys who are thinking about buying that first truck, it's always a good time as long as you can remain consistent to yourself, to what you set yourself out to do. So here we go, and we grind it out. All right, my people. So once again, it's Monday, sending you good energy and good vibes. Let's go ahead and get started on this bad boy. Some of the top typical questions that we get are very detailed. And so I know some of you guys do know, but a lot of guys don't know. So that's why we go through them one by one, and we just cover kind of all these topics. Make sure you smash that like button, like, share, and subscribe as well, guys. All right. So one of them is, do I have to use your ELD or can I run my own? So let's jump into that real quick. You will have to run under ours. All right. We use Motive. It's part of the package deal. No additional payments for you, nothing like that. And so why does somebody spark this question, right? Why would somebody ask this? Because a lot of times what I see come across the table is certain companies make you buy that unit. And now you think that unit, even though if you're going from Motive to Motive, you think that you can just, put it in and plug and play to the next carrier. But it doesn't work that way because you have to have a subscription on those bad boys. It's whoever buys the unit, it's kind of tied to that account and so forth. So probably the reason they're making you pay for it is because that way if you lose it or break it or something like that, who knows? Don't exactly know why that carrier would make you buy that, but it is non-transferable. So can I do that? And some guys are coming down from their own authority. So if you're coming down from your own authority and you have that ELD, unfortunately, no, it is not transferable. So nevertheless, we have an easy solution for all my guys, and it's cost effective to your business. You just simply jump on ours. It is no cost to you, part of the package deal. So that's a very good question. Something you don't have to worry about. All right, so we jump into the next one. How much is insurance per week? It is part of the package deal. And I'm going to dive into this a little bit more because, we do get questions, what type of insurance? So remember, we're talking first time owner operators, sometimes this could be a little bit of a confusion area because we don't really know what insurance, all the insurances they may need. Remember, they've been in trucking. Cool. They got experience. Great. But they've never been this detailed about it because they've never done it, right? So you don't know what you don't know. So here we go. We're going to break it down. Cargo and the liability insurance is part of the package deal. That right there is going to pretty much be your big boy insurance, right? As an owner operator and you're leasing onto that carrier, you're only going to have to bring your bobtail to the table, right? Which is your non-trucking liability or bobtail, same difference, right? And that's going to be an average of about $47 a month or something like that. All right. That's what you have to bring to the table, right? Second is your physical damage. Now that is optional to my people. So that's just going to depend. If there is a lien holder on your bank, then they're going to set that PD limit. If your truck is paid off, congrats, good job. I would recommend you have it. Don't overstate the value because it's not like you're going to get paid on that, but that would be your physical damage. That bad boy is going to be a percentage. So you're going to be somewhere in that ballpark between 7% to 9%, depending on what insurance company you go with the value of the truck. So that's the breakdown on that. So for us, how much is the insurance per week? Cargo and the liability is part of the package deal. It's already baked in to make it easy for you, right? So the only one you really have to go for is your bobtail and your physical damage. What we do here is we connect you with the right people to get a couple quotes. Yes, you want to get a couple quotes on the table because that is going to help you in the long run, right? So the profits are going to be on where you can save on your fixed costs, right? If you can find the best deal for yourself, then you want to go ahead and take that, right? Trucking is a penny business, guys. We got to you have to look at this as that investor on that CEO type shit, right? You have to look at where can you save money in this game called trucking, right? Especially on the key factors that you can control. So on the what we do is we give you the connects. You're going to get a couple quotes. Yes, they will look different. You just got to pick the one that best fits you. Some require a down payment, some will not. Obviously, the premium will reflect. So you're going to get them in front of you. You pick the best one. A lot of guys that are out there assume that just because a carrier offers you that's the best deal on the block. What I say is shop around, right? What I say is educate yourself. Get a couple quotes on the table because not necessarily is that the best deal for you. Yes, it may be convenient. What I mean by that is it comes out it's deducted from your settlement check, right? Cool. Doesn't mean that you're in the best position. I've seen so many guys when it's time to, they decided, hey, I need to make a change. I'm gonna move over to do something different, and then all of a sudden they find themselves without insurance, and now they're scrambling. And now they're going to possibly ask the new carrier, do you have a program and how to get on it? And they won't get insurance until the drug test is back, until they apply and blah, 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 and all that loophole stuff, right? So what I say is have your own. That is part of being that owner operator, right? There's things that I think that you can control, bring it close to you. And there are things that you should actually shift that liability to someone else. Everybody does it a little bit different. That's just my opinion on a couple things on how I would do it. But nevertheless, that's what we're doing, right? We're just throwing down some information here. And I hope it serves you. So again, insurance, we offer a really good program in that regard. Part of the package deal becomes worry-free for you. So consider that. We also have, you do have some carriers that will charge you, and they charge you no matter what. So whether you run or don't run, you're gonna be paying that tab, right? So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're calculating that into your fixed costs, so you can calculate exactly what it takes to cost to run your business, right, on a weekly, monthly basis, however you're doing your math. All right, so and then a lot of guys don't know, right? So a lot of guys think that they have to bring their cargo and their liability insurance to the table. Other carriers are going to make them pay that part, and it's a really big tab, and it can add up real quick. All right. We also have trailers. Some guys are out there running power only. I don't think that's such a good gig. Well, let me take that back. I mean, if some people are out there doing power only because you're doing you're going from maybe terminal to terminal or something like that. But as we know, nothing in trucking is forever. So, at some point those rates were going to drop and you're going to have to shift and do it anyway. I'm talking about cats that are doing power only and just chasing the dollar work in that spot market, right? I don't think that's a good place to be. I would always want to make sure that I have a trailer on me. Reducing that deadhead for sure. But more importantly than that, like if the rate's strong enough, deadhead don't matter. But what I am talking about is when do they want that trailer back, right? The dark side of that power only is like you get to pick up that trailer. What's wrong with that bad boy? One, is it legal? And if there's certain things, a bad tire, this, that, like who's fixing that? what condition is that in? Am I going to get rejected? When do they want this bad boy back and where? So now my business design, right? My dispatch design to make money is based around when somebody needs this trailer back on their site. So that could be very limiting to your business. I don't typically, I wouldn't recommend that. There's a time and a place for something like that, but I wouldn't build my business around that. So again, if you're looking for that company that has that trailer, nothing like having your trailer on you. That bad boy is yours. You take care of it like it's yours. And especially the ones we offer, 23s, 22s, and the maintenance program on there, which is a phenomenal program. So nothing like running just like that. It gives your dispatcher that much freedom to be creative, to chase that dollar for you. So you got to pay attention to how you're running your business. These are the small things that you can control, and that's what you should pay attention to. All right. So jumping into that, can some guys bring their own trailer? Yes, absolutely. But I would say the majority of our guys are actually using our trailers. So it's pretty good program. Let me jump into that real quick. One, we got a trailer mechanic on site who services them, and he does a 90-day inspections on those bad boys. So those things are always DOT ready. That gives you that freedom of, you get to a location, you're not going to get rejected because of something, you're driving a rust bucket around and all of a sudden, the customer doesn't want their product on that trailer. It's over 10 years old and all that. A lot of us have been there already. That's not good for your business. So if you're becoming that first time owner operator, it hurts that much more because, all these incidentals are yours to pay, right? So it's going to hurt a lot more than when it was a company mentality, right? So shift that mindset. Business owner, how do you get to the, stepping up to the next level comes with new responsibilities, and thinking about all these things before you get started is what this is all about. All right. So yes, you can always get your own trailer. A lot of our guys have upgraded. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's the end of, it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, you got to know how to strike. It's all about a calculated attack. Don't get you have purchasing power. So a lot of my guys, actually a couple of weeks ago, I have a guy onboarded with us, buy his trailer, just bought his truck and buy his own trailer, all that. I mean it in the kindest way. We're doing too much. Hold up. Let's slow down a little bit. Just be calculated with your business, right? No one's taking away anybody's purchasing power. Just sit on that real quick for a second. It ain't going anywhere. But what you want to do is, if that's a new truck to you, remember, it's still a used truck. It's new to you. That's about it, right? So something may go wrong. Let's wait until we iron that out. Let's get through that learning curve, right? You're learning your dispatch, how these guys run. You're learning this truck. You got to get to know that bad boy. You don't need additional headaches on you at this moment, right? So it's about knowing when to strike. So let's iron that out real quick, because it's trucking. Something's going to happen. Don't know what it is, but it will, right? We get through that because it's been done before. That's what trucking is. The same fucking problems from 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's the same ones. We're solving the same problems. So a lot of us have been here already. And by being here already, we can guide you through these things, right? And then that's what it's about. So there you go. So reserve that purchasing power for when it's right. Now, all of a sudden, you got your truck, you worked out the quirks about it, and then checking the temperature, what is the price of equipment right now? Is this the best time to buy? Not just because you can. Doesn't make sense. Like, let's let the numbers do the talking, right? There's a couple things you want to look at. Boom, what you're grossing, right? Okay, what's the difference? What does it mean to me? 10%. Boom. Now you know that. Now you got a fixed number based on how you run your business, right? So now it's just math, nothing other than that, right? So now you see that, how much is that? How much is going to be your payment? How much is going to be insurance on that bad boy? And how much is the maintenance? So let's talk about the maintenance, right? So maintenance is basically, for us, when you're running under our trailer, $50 a week covers your maintenance. That's brakes, tires, 90-day inspections, anything maintenance related, wear and tear on that trailer is covered under this program, right? When you buy your own, you have to account for that. You have to account for the brakes. You have to account, you might, brakes, tires, ABS, lights, all of these bad boys. And also, one of the things that a lot of guys don't consider into that is, man, in these last 3 months, man, I've had 3 trailers actually end up in the shop getting rocked by loaders. Man, they hit they actually one of them was up in Jersey. I don't know if you guys remember that story. Finally got my trailer back, where they actually hit, with a paper roll, the top edge of the frame out while they were taking something out and bent that. They eventually paid, so that's what's up. That was good. But again, that trailer was down for a little bit. If you have your own trailer, now your trailer's in the shop. And so now you got to keep pushing and get through. So consider that, because these things do happen. So having accessibility to any other trailer, because the carrier has a fleet of trailers, and what that means to you, it keeps the business going. So I'm not saying that this is the deal breaker. I'm just saying, for a lot of my first time owner operators, these are things that you want to consider: keeping yourself moving, keeping yourself earning. So here we go. So I got a comment. It says, someone asked another day, why would an owner operator have to pay for your trailer maintenance program? All right, cool. That's a perfect question. So let's get to that, right? So why does somebody have to pay? Because you're investing. Oops, sorry on that. All right, hold up. All right. So part of the reason you're going to have to pay is because you're using this trailer, right? Hold on, let me try to get that. All right. So man, hold up. Sorry, guys. All right, so $50 a week. So here's how I break it down. Check out this investment, right, to protect your business, and it keeps you rolling and it keeps you moving. Okay. About 2 weeks ago, we just had to replace a tire roadside. What does that typically cost? I think we paid $5 something. All right, boom. All right, probably within the last few months, I'm sure some of them you can get up to, depending how many tires you're even replacing, you had a blowout. And that's not just it, right? That tire whips, hits the mud flap bends in, and now that roadside call is $700. So these things can happen very easily. So $50 a week, if you were to run 52 weeks out of the year, right? That means that's $2,600. But who is running 52 weeks out of the year? Put your hand up. Let me know in the comments, right? So you're not even paying the $2,600. So here's what I'm saying. If you have your own trailer, that payment or that repair would have been yours. So would that eat up all of the money that you were making, right? I get it. It's trucking. It happens. But again, so the program is an investment for you to protect your business, to keep yourself moving. It's kind of the same concept when guys are buying warranties on trucks, right? It's not going to solve all your problems, right? It's not going to solve negligent problems, but it's an investment on what you're doing in order to keep yourself moving and continue making that cash flow. So you're using this trailer, it is rent free, but you're using somebody else's equipment that doesn't belong to you, obviously, and you're using it for financial gain, which is good, right? So yeah, you do have to pay some maintenance on that. Okay. And again, so this is what people do. Some people bring their own trailer to the table. Some people have purchased their trailer after being with us for a year. And then so being able to scale your business under the same roof is so monumental. And it takes a unique carrier to be able to let you do that, because it's about versatility. It's about, capitalizing as much as you can on what you're willing to do, right? So that's what this is about for you guys. All right. So either way, bring a trailer. That's cool. You have a different pay package. 863-342-5171. Give us a call. Be very cautious, you guys. We do talk about, buying those moneymaker trucks where a lot of guys, somebody's selling their truck on the front lawn for 18,000 and, 1.2 million miles on that bad boy. And we're like, slow down. Don't do that. Think about this, think about that. So the same formula goes for that trailer. Whether it's that Schneider trailer that's been used for storage and way back in that drop yard somewhere and has been sitting back there for a few years, or whether it's somebody selling their rust bucket that's way old, 20-year-old trailer. Be cautious. It will affect your business in a negative way. You're going to find yourself pulling unreliable equipment. And what happens, you're going to bleed to death, man. It slowly goes, 1,500 here, 1,000 here, 2,000 here, and throughout when you do the numbers at the end of the year, did you even move forward? So we say it all the time. Don't confuse that movement for progress. Just consider your next move, weigh all the options, look at the good, look at the bad. I know it's exciting to level up, but again, talk facts, talk numbers, let those numbers do the talking. Put that emotional piece of it down to the side, and then you go from there. All right, guys. Okay, so part of the questions, we got a little bit more time here. It's going to be about home time and flexibility. So this is one of the biggest things. So I do want to say this. You are now the CEO of your business, guys. First-time owner operators. You're the one deciding all of this, right? I get it. You're in the mind frame of a company driver that you're about to buy this very first truck. So that's a big question, because they dictated how long you were going to be out there, and they set their standards, and you're pretty much used to, if you ever went from one company to another as a company driver, these are your typical questions. But now as a business owner, you're going to decide this, right? Like, so, how much freedom do I have to run the lanes that you want? Okay, boom. You get all the freedom in the world to do this. Well, I shouldn't say that. We don't touch Cali and we don't touch Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. So as long as it's not none of that, you're good to go. Now, how much freedom do you get? Depends on your goal. As that CEO, you are making the toughest decision for your business. You are making the decisions that are best for business. Now, that necessarily doesn't mean that your employees will like it. It is good for business that will keep them employed. So you are your own employee. So these things is what you have to look at. Like, how much freedom do you have, right? How much do you want your business to make? What's that goal? That is what's going to dictate that. Not me, not Voyager. It's going to be the business need that is going to dictate that, right? Can I stay regional or can I go OTR? What is your need? What is the cost of your business, right? Let's look at this financially. That's what's going to dictate this whole bad boy, right? It's not a company telling you what you can or cannot do. It's going to be, what is your goal? Where are you trying to get to? And what can the market allow, right? So sometimes there's shifts in the market, small shifts, right? So, even like this regional stuff, right? Just to give you kind of guys of an example, my first time owner operators, here we go. So there's an individual, he doesn't drive in the snow. Cool, not a problem. But what's going to happen when that guy drives down, he hits that southeast region, right? He's not the only guy with that idea. So now we just go supply and demand. It doesn't matter how well you know your dispatcher. It doesn't matter any of that shit. Like, you could go job hopping looking for something. Just supply and demand. The market has a shift. Everybody, all those trucks that come down, you have more trucks than loads. Bada bing, the rate's going to go down, just natural supply and demand. So knowing these, linking yourself up with the right dispatchers that understand these fluctuations and understand how to capitalize and make you money on these calculations by finding that sweet spot. It doesn't mean go play in the snow. It means if, that northeastern past New Jersey already and the streets are clean, it's a little cold. Yeah, but go up there, grab that load and come right back down if it makes financial sense, right? Again, if you don't drive in the snow, it's a safety thing. That's different. I'm just putting things in front of you to look at it a little bit different, because the questions you're asking, you should be asking what is possible. Who is your top earners and how the hell did they get up there? That is what you should be looking at, because your business needs the best possible outcome for your business without any type of limitations, right? You're the CEO. You are the one making the tough decisions. Even if your employees don't like it, it is about staying in business and being able to cut those, make payroll. In this case, you making money. So same concept. All right. Do you require a minimum of days out? Owner operator, you're deciding. No one's going to tell you how long you should be out there. You're going to get that. Really, what you need to bring to the table is that open-mindedness, because don't get it twisted. I've been doing this a very long time. And what happens is, just because somebody disappears does not mean they make money, because if you're not linked with the right carrier, making the right decisions, you can go out there and disappear for a month and not make the revenue you should. You're just making the same mistakes out of state, and it's yielding you nothing. So really at the end of the thing, as the CEO, as this business owner, you should be looking at exactly, all right, what is the top dog making at this organization? All right, let me see how this guy made this type of money. Boom. And then basically, how can you replicate that? So right, because I'm just assuming you bought a truck, baby, you all in, man. You out there for as much money as you can make. Nobody should be buying a truck to work less. My opinion, that's a broken formula. I don't know. Put it up in the comments if you think, if you're against my thought pattern right there. But nobody should buy a truck to work less. Do not do that. All right. So, what's the average home time your owner operators get? Again, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to slice and dice it. Our dispatch is customized to the guy who's in front of us and what their goals are. So everyone's goal and intention is a little bit different, right? So that's the beauty about that. So I know a lot of people that are calling around and are like, man, that's such a vague answer. But because there's no silver bullet for this. Everybody, a lot of owner operators who've been doing it a long time, yes, they'll tell you they're successful because in their eyes they're successful, and that formula they're using works for them. But as a first-time owner operator, you have to yet discover what your formula is and how it's going to work for you and how you're going to make that money as quick as possible. And the best way to do it is just making those financial decisions, right? This is about money. You bought a truck for money, right? So anything other than that, what's the average somebody can get home, right? If your intent is to capitalize and make as much money, your business should not be built around home time. Your business should be built around that number, that magic number that you need in order to excel. So if you need to be grossing 7,500, or if you need to be grossing 6,500, whatever, however you do your math and whatever number you come up with, if that is your magic number, your business is designed around that number in order for you to be successful. And that's the way you have to look at that bad boy, right? Because that's going to pay the bills. That's going to keep your business afloat. That's going to pay the crib. That's going to send the kids to Disney. All that good stuff is just that magic number does so much, right? So guys, that's what we focus on is actually that. This bad boy here is there's plenty of meat left on this bone called trucking. It's just a matter of how to get to it. And you gotta get to the people that know how to hunt, right? And that's what we do, guys. Nothing but first class service with our dispatchers who've been in this game for a very long time. They know exactly how to get how to help you get and hit your goals. And it's about that business partnership. Sometimes they're going to gut check you on that, again, because it's a financial goal. So yeah, that's important to your bottom line. To learn more about this program is 863-342-5171. So here we are. We're located in Lakeland, Florida, the mecca of trucking. We got quality equipment, or if you're bringing your own trailer, we could do that as well. We do offer that free parking. We have a fuel program that is basically, man, that is that's profit right there. Let me tell you that right off the rip. I was just actually one of our guys is buying a truck from Lone Mountain. We do talk about them a lot for those guys who follow us. A third-party vendor, they just do that lease to purchase. You pay them directly. Your truck, I got nothing to do with it. But they always put you in this sweet spot about $1,600 a month for that truck, right? That's a real nice sweet spot to be in, and it's just kind of crazy where, man, we have people saving in fuel $1,600 a month, no problem. You can actually save that truck that payment by just paying attention. We actually offer 2 different fuel cards. I don't know anybody else doing this. What you do is you log on. You download both apps to your phone, you toggle between the two, and you see which fuel stations are giving you the best savings, and then you go ahead and fuel there. So you trip plan accordingly, because that is the profit to your business. You're taking money right back into your pocket. And so I know a lot of people have that, the app. That's not what makes the savings. The real savings comes because we push 100% of that fuel savings to the owner operator. So you get 100% of that savings right back to you. And that means money in your pocket. And actually, if you had that truck payment, you can save that money. It's worth the truck payment. So pay attention to that. Guys, it is Monday. It is go time. We got actually two cats in orientation today. So that is always starting good. 2026. Let's go, baby. For those guys buying that truck, do give us a call, 863-342-5171. We're here to help out. We did answer some questions over the weekend somebody had questions about plates. So anything you need to know about trucking, we got the answer. If we don't have it, we know how to get it. So do not hesitate to make that phone call, 863-342-5171. All right, my people, I will catch you on the next one. Be safe, drive safe. And don't forget, give us a call. Even stop by the office, 3180 Mulford Road. It's actually 33860 is the zip code. Come meet our staff. You meet the ops, dispatch, meet the mechanic, check out our equipment, meet safety. Open book, transparency is king. So we look forward to meeting you guys. All right, be safe out there, my people. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Check out Super Trucker Podcast. Plenty of content there to make you successful. Remember, you are now the CEO of your business. It comes with making hard decisions and holding people accountable, and most important, holding yourself accountable. All right, guys, make sure. Let's go get it. All right, my people, have a good one.